Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is 03HW1, solving equations using a distributive property. And right here we have problem number 1 here on our worksheet, which is negative 94 equals negative 2 times 5r plus 7. Now we have to make sure we distribute properly when we're solving for equations. We have to make sure we distribute this negative 2 in this problem to both terms. Now 5r is one term and the positive 7 is the second term inside the parentheses here. So you have to make sure that negative 2 is being multiplied both to the 5r and the negative 2 is being multiplied to the positive 7. So this is what's given to us. This is the given equation. We carry down negative 94 and it's equal to, well, negative 2 times 5r is negative 10r. Negative 2 times positive 7 gets us negative 14. And this is the distributive property. I'm going to abbreviate here. DIST property, PROP. After we distribute, we're just going to use our inverse operations to solve the multi-step equation. We're going to move this negative 14 and add 14 to both sides of the equation, just like what we did in the past. So add 14 to both sides. Negative 94 plus 14 gets us negative 80. Carry down the negative 10r. Negative 14 and positive 14, they cancel out. So this was simplified. Now we have negative 80 equals negative 10 times r. So the inverse operation of times negative 10 is multiplying by divided by negative 10. So that's the inverse operation of times negative 10. So we divide by negative 10 to both sides. Negative 80 divided by negative 10 gets us a positive 8. Negative 10 divided by negative 10, that gets us a positive 1. So we just carry down the r. So r equals 8. So it's simplified, divided by negative 10 to both sides of the equation, and then we have our solution, which is r equals 8. So the answer to problem number 1 is D. R equals 8. Next up, we'll do problem number 3. Problem number 3. Alright, this is problem number 3. We have negative 103 equals 7p minus 6 times 6p minus 7. So in this problem, we first have to distribute this negative 6 to both the two terms inside this set of parentheses. So the negative 6 has to be multiplied to the 6p, and the negative 7 has to be multiplied, the negative 6 has to be multiplied to the negative 7. This is given to us. So that's what we're going to do first. We'll distribute. So you have negative 103 equal to 7p. Now negative 6 times 6p gets us negative 36p. Negative 6 times negative 7 gets us positive 42. So we did the distributive property. Next, we're going to combine like terms. We have a positive 7p minus 36p. And what that is, that's negative 29p. So let's combine like terms. We carry down the equal sign, carry down the 103. Next up, we have to subtract 42 from both sides. The reason why I subtract 42, because I know 103 and 42, when I move it over to the other side, we're going to have like terms. That's why I use that inverse operation of subtracting 42. So we subtract 42 from both sides. From both sides of the equation. So we have negative 103 minus 42, which is negative 145, is equal to negative 29p. Now this is negative 29 times p, So the inverse operation is divide by negative 29 to both sides. I'm going to get P equals, well, we're going to type that right into the calculator. Negative 145 divided by negative 29. And we're going to get a positive 5. So P equals 5. So I subtracted 42 from both sides. Then we simplified. Then we divided by 29, or negative 29 to both sides. And then we got ourselves our solution. P equals 5. And that's problem number 3. Next up, we're going to do problem number 7. Alright, here's our next problem, problem number 7. We have 3 minus 8 times negative 6x plus 4 equals 259. This is our given problem. So we write given. We distribute. So it'll be 3. Well, negative 8 times negative 6. 8 times negative 6, that's positive 48. And that has an x there, so it'll be positive 48x. Then negative 8 times positive 4 gets you negative 32 equals 259. That was the distributive property. Then we need to combine like terms. We have a positive 3 and a minus 32. So 3 minus 32 gets us negative 29. Because they're like terms, they're on the same side of that equal sign. So positive 3 minus 32 in the calculator gets us negative 29. Carry down the positive 48x. Carry down equal sign and the 259. So that was combined like terms. Add 29 to both sides of the equation. You get 48x equals, well, 259 plus 29 gets us 288. Then we divide by 48 to both sides, because there's imaginary times in between the two. So divide by 48 to both sides, and we're going to get x equals, well, 288 divided by 48 gets us 6. So we had our given problem, wrote given. We then did the distributive property. Then we did combine like terms. Then we added 29 to both sides of the equation. We then simplified it by combining our like terms of 259 plus 29. So we added or combined like terms right there. And then we divided by 48 to both sides. And then our solution of x equals 6. And that's problem number 7. Next we'll do problem number 8. Alright, this is problem number 8. We have negative 90 equals 5 times negative 6 plus 3n, close parentheses. So, what we need to do is distribute first. We have to distribute that 5, both to negative 6 and to the positive 3n. This is our given problem. We distribute first. So we have negative 90 equals 5 times negative 6 gets us negative 30. Then 5 times positive 3n gets us 15n. That was the distributive property. Next, we use inverse operations. We add 30 to both sides. So we have negative 60 equals 15n. This is 15 times n. So we use our inverse operation and divide by 15 to both sides. Negative 60 divided by 15 gets us negative 4. So n equals negative 4. This was add 30 to both sides. Then we simplified, aka combine like terms. or added like terms. We divided by 15 to both sides of the equation, and then we have our solution, which is n equals -4, for problem number 8. Next up, we'll do problem number 10. Alright, this is problem number 10 here. We have -2, parentheses, 2 plus 6n, close parentheses, equals 92. Now our goal is to get n all by itself. We're going to isolate the variable. So how are we going to go about doing that? Well, first, looking at this given problem, we're going to distribute. So let's write our notes down here. This is our given problem. We write given next to it. We then distribute. So -2 times 2 gets us -4. Then -2 times 6n gets us -12n equals 92. So that's the distributive property. Then we add 4 to both sides. And we get -12n equals 96. This is a -12 times n. So we divide by -12 to both sides. And we're going to get n equals, well, 96 divided by -12. We could put that right into the calculator. And we get n equals -8. So first, we're given the problem. Then we did the distributive property. Then we added 4 to both sides of the equation. Both sides. Then we simplified, which we combined like terms on that side. I'm going to write CLT right next to it. We then divided by -12 to both sides of the equation. And then we had our solution, which is n equals -8. Now if you have any questions, please come to Extra Help or ask during class. Alright, make sure you complete the entire Google form. You have to complete all the other problems too, in addition to the problems that we just reviewed. Fill out all problems 1 through 10. Make sure you hit the submit button at the end of the Google form to make sure that everything is all submitted. Also, remember to please type in your name, your first name and your last name, and that school email of yours. Alright, have a good night.